Welcome to my next video. This one's going to be talking about rasters because there's two picture registers that deal with rasters. Right, so I thought I'd better have a little kind of introduction to what rasters are and how they work before we get into any of that. So, basically, the original VIC-20, you plugged it into a TV screen, which was a cathode ray tube, and display on cathode ray tubes are made out of lines. And in the VIC-20 case, it's a TV that you're plugging it into, kind of cathode ray tube, and it uses an interlaced display, which means it draws an old screen full of lines to make one image, called a field, and then it draws another image in between those lines, full of lines, make your second image. So one's called an odd field and one's called an even field. I'm not honestly sure why, but anyway, one set of lines is inside each other, and the overall effect is you can't actually see this happening because it happens very, very quickly. And so it's it kind of tricks your eye into believing it's just a steady, stable picture. Right. Okay. There's two different TV systems. There's the NSTC one, which is the American one, which has 525 lines, and the UK one. I'm not sure. Well, it's usually the PAL system, which has, I think it's 625 or 645. To be honest, it doesn't really matter for the sake of this video. Right. Okay. And so let's talk about the American one then. You would have a full screen full of 262 lines, and then after that image on your screen, you'd have another image in between those lines, another 262 or 263 lines. Make up your 525 lines. Now, I've always wondered why it had to be an odd number. It just seemed a little bit strange to me. Anyway, I did a little bit of digging and did a little bit of research, and I kind of found out why. So the videos that I found were not terribly good, and they didn't really explain how in enough sort of detail for me. So I decided to make one of my own. Basically, the image is made up by an electron beam being aimed at the TV tube. It hits the phosphor, causing a tiny little dot. Now, when this electron gun's turned on, it leaves a trace behind it. When it's turned off, it doesn't leave a trace, so it's black. And what happens is it scans from the top left to the top right, and when it hits the top right, well, it's at a constant speed. It goes. Then when it hits the top right, it more or less goes straight back to the beginning. It more or less instantaneously. It goes very, very quickly back to the beginning. And while all this is happening, you have another signal. That's the horizontal signal that's causing it to do that. Go at constant speed and then fly back. While this is happening, you have a vertical signal, which is making the beam go down the screen at a slower rate, so it's going at like a diagonal, a very slight diagonal. So when it comes back, it goes backwards and forwards like that. And when this horizontal beam hits the bottom of the screen, it goes back up, but it doesn't go up instantaneously. It has to be timed, and it has to be timed so that it's if it's the first screen, it'll fly back and it'll need to hit the middle of the screen with the electron beam before it turns back on again. It's before it starts tracing a new line. And I'll show you why. I'll just run this program. It's a little bit of a demonstration. The lines are very diagonal. They wouldn't be like that in normal life, because when you get that many lines, the more it's completely horizontal. Once you get loads of lines that are very, very close together, you can't really tell them from. It's only a very, very slight diagonal angle. Anyway, I'll run this. If you're wondering what that number is, I just put a little command in to tell me how much memory I had left, because I had to allocate a lot of memory to the screen and the character generator to do this. So I would just right, so I just press on that, and then here we go. Right, basically this is just preparing it all, clearing out all the character generator and everything, put it in multicolor mode and what have you. Right, and there we go. And this, okay, the little yellow dot, that represents where the target of the electron beam is. If the electron gun's turned on, it leaves a trace, but when it's turned off, it'll just be black. See, it'll hit this edge, go straight back over here, and then start coming back down again. See the vertical, what's the word? Deflection is causing it to go down, and the horizontal deflection is causing it to go left to right. Right, it'll get to here, it'll go back, and now it's turned off, so it's not leaving a trace. It's going back up to the top, hitting the middle, and then it starts its new. See this. The blue lines are one field; they're one image. I don't know whether it's. I'm assuming that's the even field, because that's an even number of lines. I'm assuming the magenta one will be the odd, because there will end up being an odd number of lines, even though the bottom and top one are half lines. Anyway, this is how in very, very slow motion how rasters work. Obviously, on a normal TV, the colour and the brightness of these lines will vary depending on what picture it's going to be showing. But yeah, that's your basics of your CRT and rasters and electron guns and whatnot. So I hope you're a bit less confused than you were before the start of this video. And next video we'll get onto the raster registers and what you can do with them in the next video. Okay, thank you for watching. Oh, okay, if you want to put this program into your own VIC or your own emulator, you can do. That's the top of it. I'll just show you the bottom of it. So there you go, that's the bottom of it. But I will say one thing: when you're messing about allocating memory to character generators and moving your screen about, it's quite a difficult thing, because this little bit of code here, I'm assuming you can see my pointer at the top, that points the top of variables and the top of basic to just under where the new screen position in memory is, and then you clear CLR just clears everything out of any variables, what have you, that would have been in memory. But the thing is, once you run this, I'm not really sure what happens, but things start to go a bit wobbly, and if you try to save it and then you're trying to reload it after you've run it, it doesn't always. Well, it never seems to work. So the best thing to do, if you want to actually put this program into your computer, is to put it all in without saving or running it. Sorry, without running it. Then save it,